It's not for me to say you love.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Easter tomorrow, so happy Easter to everyone in advance, or belated because you're going to watch this later on. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about autism again because it still is Autism Awareness Month, and I feel like there are so many questions I've been asked about it, and like people are still really interested, which is pretty cool considering I didn't know if I'd get a good reception for that video or not, just because like people can be really mean, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but today we're going to be talking about masking and stimming and what it's like to be an autistic black girl, because that's what I've been asked the most when I watched that video. Oh, mind this guys, it's all eyeliner. But yeah, that's what I've been asked the most after I did that video. Like, what is it like being autistic? What is it like being a black autistic girl? What do you do to cope? How is life for you? And loads of questions of that nature. So the first thing I'd like to talk about, the first thing I'd like to say is thank you so much to everyone who watched that video and gave me such nice comments and like spoke to me about it, because it was really, really sweet. And I didn't expect to get such a positive reception. And thank you for this growing family of nerds. It's really great, and it's just great. I'm loving it all. Anyways, so let me start. People who are autistic, who happen to be women, tend to find out later on that they are autistic due to the fact that they are good at masking things. Masking being able to hide how they feel, hide how they act, and hide their autistic symptoms. So some people, men in particular, can find that they're autistic, maybe like 5 to 10, or even younger, youngest 2. But then we have autistic women who sometimes find out as late as being 50 years old, which was crazy. Imagine living your whole life and not knowing that vital piece of information. Obviously, being autistic is not a hindrance in the slightest, and you don't really need to know that you're autistic to some extent, but it does help to know, because it helps you so much with everything you do. Like, if I knew I was autistic, then maybe I'd be able to be free as a bird and, know that like this is what it is and I'm not just weird or whatever. But yes, one of the biggest things, or one of the biggest differences between a male and a female is emotional intelligence. That is one of the biggest things. Emotional intelligence is one of the biggest differences between a male and a female. So males may have the capability to be more blunt and more to the point, whereas females who are autistic, even though they are very blunt and quite unfiltered, just as a man with autism, they have more emotional intelligence. So they learn quicker. They learn the emotions quicker. Even though we may not be able to understand what's going on, we learn quicker. So for an autistic man, maybe, let me give you a situation. If someone is crying, they may not know what to do. But for an autistic girl, they will know what to do, even though it might be quite uncomfortable to watch someone cry. They'll know what to do, and they'll know, okay, hang on, they're crying, I need to help them, kind of thing. Or hang on, this person's in distress. But sometimes males have a delayed reaction. Girls with autism also tend to have lots of other mental health issues due to the fact that they have to mask. It can be quite daunting and quite stressful, which leads me to talk about stimming. One of the ways in which autistic people cope with their mental breakdowns and their problems is by something known as stimming. Stimming is repetitive behavior. So like, it's doing something to almost like combat a sensory overload, or to combat a distressful situation. So say for instance, I am running or doing something that I'm enjoying, and someone decides to touch me or to hit me or to do something of that nature. I will be taken off guard and I might lose it. Normally when people with autism, when they have a meltdown, everyone reacts quite differently, but I can say for myself, like, I do lose it. I might start flapping my arms about, I might start hitting things, I might start banging my head, and etc., to try and bring myself back to level ground. So this is a way in which people do cope with autism, with stimming. But sometimes it's not a coping mechanism at all. Sometimes it's actually quite violent, and sometimes it can be quite painful. Sometimes even with myself, when I was younger, stimming used to be way more aggressive, like when I'm hitting myself into things, whether I'm like bouncing from wall to wall because I can't cope with things. It is one of the ways that we do things. But to continue on about being a female and autistic, it is not as straightforward as it is for a man, just because we are so amazing at making ourselves believe that everything is okay, and we are so amazing at making you guys believe that everything is okay. Am I right? Like we can sail through. Yes, sometimes we don't get things, and yes, sometimes we are hyper emotional and we get even more emotional than somebody else, but our emotional intelligence is quite up there. The reason why I say this is that people who are girls and are autistic sometimes are in very, very bad situations. Sometimes they get bullied and etc. And they learn how to mask the pain so much better than a man or a boy would be able to, that they can come home and act like everything's been absolutely fine. But the problem with masking is that the more that you mask, the more stressful it is. It's almost like keeping your identity away from people. So imagine this, yeah. I'm Vanessa, but being Vanessa is complex, and I'm scared that it's gonna impact, I don't know, Belinda, Barbara, Monica, Jessica, and etc. So I decide that I'm gonna be Vanessa-May, follow me and my analogy. So I take the role of Vanessa-May, and Vanessa-May is more composed, more simple, more likable, and a character that people can understand better. So me as Vanessa, I decide, hang on a second, I'm going to take the role of being Vanessa-May because she makes more sense and people tend to like her a lot. But that is quite stressful, and it takes a lot of energy to be someone that you're not. And that's why it leads to so many things like anxiety, depression, OCD, schizophrenia, ADHD, bipolar disorder. It leads to so many different things, and there are so many autistic women who do suffer from these things. I can say for myself, I did suffer from depression and anxiety disorder for the longest bit of my life. It's not that it's gone, it's just I cope with it a bit better now that I know who I am. But yeah, that's really all I have to say for this video. It was just a quick one I say, as it's like 8 minutes long. But yes, if you have any questions, please do talk to me about it. It is still Autism Awareness Month, so please be nice to any autistic people that you know, and please do be lovely to one another. The month of healing, and it's the month of being one.